Hi guys, Drew with Dru Talks. Today we are going to talk about prepping. What is a prepper? A prepper is someone who believes in being ready no matter what the emergency that befalls them. They are prepared, hence the term prepper. Now there's a whole scale of what it means to be a prepper. On one end we have people that basically have a grab bag just in case they're evacuated because of a hurricane. And on the other end of the scale, we have people who live in campers with lots of antennas hanging out the side and are on the move because they're worried about the government coming for them. So there's a huge range of what it means to be a prepper. I have never, ever been one. I basically keep a weekly supply in my house of food, and I go to the grocery store every week. I've never been interested in being a prepper, which is really surprising. The area I grew up in was full of preppers. A lot of that had to do with the fact it was a very rural area. So people had to be prepared just in case they got snowed in because of a blizzard. I just never have lived that way. I'm not very excitable. I wasn't worried when Y2K came. I wasn't worried when September 11th happened. I didn't stock up on anything. When the swine flu struck, even when coronavirus hit, I was not rushing out stocking up on anything. And if I had been, it probably wouldn't have been toilet paper. Just saying. But this whole last year of unrest, some of the new terminology that's being used, domestic terrorism, for the first time ever, I'm starting to worry about what's coming down the pipe. So we're just going to go over a list of things you might want to have on hand just in the event of an emergency. This type of list will vary based on where you live. If you live in an area that's very deserty, you're going to want to have a ton of water on hand. If you live in an area that has a lot of water, maybe all you'll need is some water filtration systems. So like I said, it's going to vary based on what your needs are where you live. If you live in a big city, you might want to have a plan for a place you can go to get out of that city. If somebody's planning on just going up into the mountains and living there, they're going to need to have a lot more supplies than somebody who is just planning on getting from point A to B. So everybody's list of what they're going to need will be different. And I'm sure there's a ton of guys out there who are going to correct me and say that the things I'm preparing for are wrong while they sit there in their camo suit with all the leaves attached to it. So this is just an example of things you might want to have to quickly grab. Passports for travel. These are important in case you need to go over any borders. I would recommend having any cash you have in the house to quickly grab if you have to head out the door. Another thing you're going to want to have on hand is any medicine that is critical to you staying alive. So if you're on heart medication, make sure you have some extra bottles on hand of that to grab. You do not want to be in a crisis situation and out of your medicine. Obviously, guns and ammo. Of course, if you're like me and you lost all of your guns in a boating accident, then you're just kind of out of luck. There was a canoe, it capsized. It's a really bad day for our marriage. If you need to drive anywhere, if you are a person that has to get from point A to point B, you're going to need to have gas just in case there's a run on the gas stations. A little radio. I bought one that is a battery operated, also solar operated, and it has a little crank operated. And I just think this is nifty. We'll see if it actually works. Also, you can get involved in ham radio systems, and those are super great during emergencies. You do have to be licensed to operate those, so keep that in mind. Duct tape. First aid kit with a needle and thread stored in it. Flashlights. I'd recommend having a hunting knife and a hatchet with you, some sort of knife in general. This ancient document is known as a road atlas. As you can see, mine is 7 years old, but still good. Compass, flint, and steel. As you can see, I've never used it. If If you live in an area that has a lot of water, what you might consider grabbing is a water filtration system. This basically, you put it in the water and you suck the water up through it and it's supposed to clean it. I don't actually know if it works very well, but if we all die of dysentery, we'll know it definitely does not work. Now, in an effort to not look like Sam Gamgee climbing around in the mountains, I actually had to cut my list off there. However, if it's not like a rush out the door emergency, there are a few other items I definitely will be grabbing. One thing you can do is grab a small duffel bag, go to your medicine cabinet and just swipe everything into that bag. That's your Tylenol, that's your Benadryl, all that good stuff. And then you just have it and you carry it out the door. Walkie-talkies, food. Grab some food out of your pantry. Sleeping bags, winter gear. This is for those of us who live in the northern areas. You're going to need boots, snow pants, jacket, gloves, hat. You don't want to be cold. This may seem crazy. Ziploc bags, they are my go-to for almost everything. And they'll keep my stuff from getting wet. Fishing line. Yes, I have it. I have a ton of fishing line on hand for whatever reason because I never fish, but I am ready. Oddly enough, a luxury item I think I would grab would be the backup to my computer. I don't know if I'd actually need that, but it's on my list. Matches. Toilet paper. Notice this is almost at the bottom of my list. Maybe we'll trade it for currency if the whole economy collapses. I also keep all the batteries in my house in a box, mostly just for storage, like a teeny little box. And if there were ever to be a crisis, I can simply just grab those in the bag and head out the door. And just so I feel completely like a prospector on my rush to safety, I have a little pot to go clunk, clunk, clunk on my bag and really make it look like I don't know what I'm doing at all. I did refrain from grabbing rope, so I'm pretty proud of myself. And those are my tips for your prep bag. Remember, you are responsible to take care of your family, and part of taking care of your family is being prepared for whatever may happen. Now, I'm not saying we need to go live in the compound and stock up on a whole arsenal of tanks, but I am saying it's been a crazy year. So having some of these supplies on hand, just in case you had to do a quick evac, or in case something unforeseen happens, you are ready to go. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.